Okay, so the first group that I wanted to discuss was the Latino Cultural Center, which is in Phoenix, Arizona. It was actually created in 2001, but as of this year, 2019, the mayor was actually looking into funding for the center to actually have a center, its own building, its own space, because they don't right now. So they regularly partner with other arts organizations for fundraising purposes, or they're usually invited to festivals for theatrical or dance performances, or just to put some of their art on display. Um, the main thing this cultural center is supposed to be doing is giving a louder voice to the Latino community in Arizona. It's also just a way for them to show off their arts and their history and their culture, especially to younger generations that probably don't know a whole lot, or honestly, just people in general that don't know a whole lot about Latino art, Latino history, Latino culture. Um, but one of the main problems is that funding is obviously very minimal, it's very limited, and they still don't have their own space. They don't have a building where their art is being displayed, they don't have a practice facility for their dancing, for their theatrical pieces, anything like that. So they're kind of just floating between venues on where they can practice, where they can hold their meetings, where they can store everything, which having a home base would really solidify them as a more concrete piece in the community. It would actually allow them to branch out more, and they'd be able to kind of provide more resources for the area. They could have classes, they could probably practice more often, get more people involved, because it's really hard to kind of coordinate where everyone's going to be when it's not just a set place every single time. But honestly, even with the constantly moving location, I think it's the people themselves that kind of act as a voice for that group who previously been complaining in Phoenix and Arizona, just that they've been put on the back burner. So I think this group is really bringing different cultures to the forefront of not just the community, but to policy changes in the city and the state. And then also they're kind of affecting the way that Phoenix discusses their funding opportunities, especially because that is one of the big problems is even though they have their own group, they're not getting the funding that other organizations are. And they've been around for almost 20 years now. But even in that time, they've gotten really involved with town hall meetings. They'll be in City Hall pretty frequently. They're doing a lot of business studies actually connected with the government, just on how they're running everything and about their funding. And there's a few studies that have been published based on this center. Um, so then I also wanted to talk about the state art agency, which would be the Phoenix Art Museum. Um, they support a lot of other arts organizations because they actually just have a set space in their facility for Phoenix artists and Arizona artists, and it's constantly rotating. They'll bring pieces in and out, so they can always have new talent coming in, new people to show off their works, but then they also do have a permanent collection of local artists. Not only that, but they offer a lot of educational programs ranging from all ages, from the local elementaries to the big state universities there. Um, but one concern really is that a lot of the surrounding museums in the area, they do special promotional days where the local tribes of Native Americans, they can come in for free, or students have certain days where they can come in for free, and it really draws people in a lot more. I'd say the Phoenix Museum is pretty pricey, and they're not doing those same promotional things that surrounding museums are. So they're almost isolating certain groups of people who are not financially able to come into the museum, and they're not having, specific days that draw people in where you would have a large group, a large Native American family come in and want to see the exhibits. They're just kind of not drawing in more of the minority groups in the area. Um, but in terms of social change, they have a good connection with the Heard Museum, which is within walking distance. And so that association, for those of you that don't know, the Heard Museum is a Native American museum for Native American cultural and history. But that link together, it kind of expands their resources, and they can do a lot of interloaning of works and pieces. And so you can have one piece shown in a bunch of different contexts, and you can have many different discussions because it's being displayed in different exhibitions, in different museums, honestly. Um, but it's not only linking these two institutions together, it's kind of expanding the availability of Native American art as a whole.